Welcome to Flower Farm Friday. It is so fun to be in the garden, and it's definitely summer. I'm standing in the shade, but it feels pretty warm, and right above my head is this really beautiful swallowtail butterfly, and it's on the buddleia plant, which is also a butterfly bush. And so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you around the gardens, and I'm going to show you what is blooming, what's happening, and share some of the joy of being outside and the benefits of enjoying yourselves in the garden. It's so magical to witness this swallowtail butterfly, and this is what I say is like, unless you're outside enjoying nature, you don't get to see this. Like, look at this. This other guy just landed, and they're right in front of me dancing, and this is the kind of stuff you don't see unless you're out here with them. And how amazing that we get to witness this dance, literally, that these butterflies are having. These swallowtails are like the size of small birds, and they add so much charm and beauty and bring so much love to the garden this time of year. It's a little breezy, and this guy's like hanging on, but just like really getting that pollen out of these buddleias. And this is a butterfly bush, which is appropriate because the butterflies obviously love the butterfly bush. And I could just stand here for hours and just observe it because it's so majestic. I mean, witnessing this so up close is so interesting to me. Like, look at this butterfly. It's just so happy here on this bush, and they love the butterfly bush, and they come around this time of year, and they just have to get such beautiful markings on their body. And there's so many other kind of butterflies, which I'll show you, happening this time of year, and they're all just pollinating the flowers and moving the pollen from flower to flower. It's a fascinating thing to witness nature like this and so closely. This here is lemon verbena, or vervain, and you know, I always say that fancy French soap that you get like in hotels. This is it, and it smells delicious. Lemon verbena makes a great tea. If you mix it with a green tea or just drink it alone herbal, it's really nice. And the fragrance is sensational. What I love about it is that, like, it's gotten, you know, this is like definitely like a bush, and it's perennial, and it comes back hardier and hardier every day. And so you have this gift that keeps on giving, and you can dry lemon verbena and make teas out of it, and it dries, and the tea is just as good as if it were fresh. But it's really a sensational herb, and try it. Lemon verbena, I feel like it's a must in everybody's garden. This is the time of year where I start to notice a lot of the flowers have gone to seed, and so this here is a scabiosa plant that has some of the flowers left, but then every one of these has a seed inside the little shaft. So this little seed is the seed that comes out of these little shafts from the scabiosa. So you see right here, every one of these vessels has those in it, and so if I pull on it, they'll just come out with it. But inside there is these little tiny seeds, and you see, there they are. How do I know? Because I'm curious about things. I'm always very curious about how plants propagate, how things spread, and whenever I take an interest in a plant, I take an interest on how it continues to multiply itself. This is a sweet hibiscus looking bush that we have in our front yard, and I was just looking over in front of me, and I was looking up at one of my favorite paintings that a good friend of mine, Greg Galinsky, painted, and those are on two 8-foot panels. And I just love the juxtaposition of how you can have modern with old wood. And so all the time throughout the seasons over the years, I get to see this beautiful painting, and it just puts a smile on my face. But it also just shows that you can have modern paintings and sculptures, etc., and you can juxtapose it with old barns. And I mean, look at his work. It's just a brilliant piece of art, and it has these wonderful shades of maroons and plums and some, you know, tans. So it's really cool. The artist's name is Greg Galinsky. Look him up. He's brilliant, and he lives in the Bay Area. Look at all these amazing mums cuttings that Patricia Carpenter brought us today. She is so generous. She has a spectacular garden here in Davis, and she has shared so many cool plants with me, and she has given us so many that I dedicated a part of our garden to her, and I call it Patricia's Garden. There's a lot of very interesting things that are happening in the heat of the day, and these bees don't care that it's hot outside. It's midday, they're happy, they're pollinating this passiflora flower, and it's a great day in the garden. I love observing these butterflies this time of year. I can tell what time of year it is just by the pollinators that are in the garden, and also by the sounds of the birds. And that's just happened naturally by slowing down, being in nature on a daily basis, and just kind of feeling what is happening around the combination of the heat and the cold and the different pollinators that are around us just really speak to the season. And it's all very interesting and poetic. Here's the orange butterflies doing the dance in front of us. You know, I just came back to this to see, because I thought this was odd. And what we're witnessing is that this spider has actually grabbed this poor butterfly by its tail, and it's going to consume it. So as morbid as it is, this is the reality of nature. I thought it was hanging upside down, laying eggs, but really what's happening is that spider has caught it. Anyway, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but this is also part of the reality of what you see when you're in nature. So while other people are enjoying a wedding this afternoon, all these bees are super happy. They're not paying attention to what anybody else is doing. They are over here pollinating these beautiful flowers. And it's just a really cool, awesome, fascinating thing to observe. These passiflora flowers are really interesting. See how it has its pollen pods reflecting back at the flower, and these pollinators are just going from plant to plant, spreading the pollen between them. This is another variety of passiflora. These have like a mostly purple body to them, and they're very interesting. They have a very cosmic look to them. Look at that. Very interesting flower. Right now it's so hot that I feel like getting in the irrigation ditch. This water flows down these canals from up north and out into the fields, and I'd venture to say that it's pretty clean right there. And it's about 97 degrees right now. It's 4 in the afternoon, and that's the kind of temperatures it takes to cook these beautiful grapes. And these grapes will be turning all deep purple, and they have such a delicious taste to them. I describe them as Welch's grapes. So good. And these are these really sweet grapes growing along the fence here, looking at these beautiful farm fields around us. And right now, because it's so hot, I wish I was in there. So while I was out there in the heat, observing all these pollinators, Alex is over here doing something with these watermelon. Alex, do you want to tell us what you're doing?
Yeah, we got some watermelon margaritas today. So we got some fresh puree, cutting up some watermelons to garnish them with. It's going to be really nice and refreshing on a hot day. So yeah, that's what we got cooking over here.
Oh gosh, those look really good. Are they as good as they look?
I haven't tried. Would you like to try?
Yeah, I'd like to try.
Yeah.
Nice, thank you.
Of course.
Oh wow, they're better than I thought. They're really good. So, for those of you that are worried about me, that I'm out in the sun too much, or that I was out in the intense heat, just know that I'm always like steps away from the magic of what's going on here. Today we're setting up for a wedding, and I always stop to see what they're serving, and today we're doing watermelon margaritas. I don't know if this is quite yet the dog days of summer, but it is a really cool, quiet day here out amongst the flowers, and I'm collecting some of the seeds from the flowers, and today I'm looking at some of these hollyhock seeds to see if they're ready. And what I'm fascinated with is the way that they organize themselves like a crown all the way around. And every one of these little pieces is a seed. So I'll be collecting these and sharing them with people. But they're really cool. Every single one is like a little disc. And but what's fascinating is that they are like in a little round shape around, almost like a crown. So they start off with the flowers, and then they get these little green buds like this. And I guess they cook, right? And then after they do that, they form in a circle like that. And in order for the seeds to be viable, they have to totally dry on the vine. And it's just great sharing these seeds with people. We're on a journey to have seeds that we sell, but so far I've just been giving them away, and I have a lot of joy in sharing the stuff that's growing around here. So here we are at 6 feet level, at my eye level, and look at how high this hollyhock branch goes, and it's all full of seeds. Every one of these is a little cone, seed pod, and every one of these seed pods is full of so many seeds, and it's going to be fun to share these with everyone. So if you see me and you want some of these seeds, let me know. I'll share them with you. As you can see, there's different colors and sizes of little butterflies that are migrating through here, and I'm going to start getting a little more familiar with what these are called. These are a very small species, and they're floating around, and it's just really cool just like seeing how many different varieties of insects and pollinators are out this time of year. And you know, it's like when you start to pay attention, you become more and more aware, and my curiosity just always brings me back to wanting to see more. It's really cool, like when you look closely, that they have like little eyes and wings, and you know, it's just cool to like tune into the details of all these pollinators. I'm gonna surmise that the butterflies today in the garden are not dancing, but mating. And sometimes it has to be like blatantly obvious. And but it's really fun to like see these guys in nature doing their thing. And here we have another little butterfly. It has a golden, yellowy, orange color, and there's not a lot of those around yet, but they're all like migrating. It's really interesting. And of course the bees are doing their thing. They're super happy, getting as much pollen as they can. I'm going to clip and clean the underneath of this curly willow, but instead of throwing it away, I'm going to make a wreath out of it. And they're really interesting because they still have the leaves on them, and the shape of the curly willow is so cool. And they have this like nice like golden color to the bark. They kind of look like the Sangao cuckoo maples, but this is the curly willow version of them. Well, I picked a shady spot to tie the curly willow into a wreath because I thought I was going to go inside the flower barn, but it's still too hot in there and the day is so gorgeous. I wish I could bottle up these gorgeous days and just savor them forever. Thank goodness we have video to do that. It's just really nice, even though it's been a hot day. It's been a beautiful day. So where I'm standing right now is a nice breeze, and I think it's the perfect spot to just do this curly willow. I'm going to turn these curly willows into wreaths. And so you just start off by tying them loosely, and then as you add more of the willow to it, it starts to shape your wreath. And it happens pretty fast. So rather than just throwing away the cuttings when you're trimming your trees, you can make these really nice wreaths out of them. And it's meditative, it's thoughtful, it's, you know, you feel like you did something, and you can do one pretty fast. You know, it's just a matter of tying them into each other, making these circular wreath bases. And at the beginning it's a little bit trickier because you got to get the knack for it, but once they start locking into each other, then you're on a roll. And I think I'm on a roll, even though you may not see it. Then what you do is you tighten it up, and I think they're a lot more interesting with the leaves on them because the leaves add a really nice texture. And yes, they dry and they get brittle over time, but you get to enjoy them for quite a while with that really cool texture, and they don't look too perfect, but they look very organic. Don't get caught up on these imperfections like this thing that I'm obsessing on. You can either just cut them right away so you don't have to see them, or you can like work through it as you build your wreaths. I've made wreaths out of the weeping willow right behind me, but these are wreaths made out of the curly willow. So they're going to have a slightly different look and texture to them, but they're going to be very similar. And the ones that I made with the weeping willow are really nice. They're dry. I'm looking forward to showing them to you. You see, this one here just kind of popped this way, and I kept wanting to make it round, but it wants to be, I guess, an egg, like an oval shape. And I'm just going to go with that, and I'm going to, instead of fighting the shape, I'm going to embrace the shape. And it's going to be fun because, you know, usually you see a wreath that's usually like perfectly round. And so this wreath here has its egg shape. So imagine like this hanging from your door like that. And then you can embellish it however you want. So instead of making this one round, I'm going to make it like this. All of my best ideas sometimes have been, you know, ideas and suggestions from other people, but also just observations of nature. And this clearly wants to be an oval, and I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to let it be that, and I think it's going to be fun hanging like that. So it looks like I have enough for two, so I'm going to make a second one. And so here you have it. You have a wreath base that is circular, and I have a couple of teardrops. They want to be this shape, and I'm just going with it. I never thought of doing this shape, but I think it's going to be great. And I think someone's going to like it. Someone's going to want this wreath base for something. Kind of reminds me a little bit of an egg. And so there you have it. So I hope everyone has enjoyed being creative with me today, and I hope that you got some time to play in your garden. Have a great weekend.